The transport ship landed on Station Vega with a loud hiss. Steam rose from its metal body as the doors opened slowly. Inside, 100 new cadets waited to step onto the floor of the most famous military academy in the galaxy. Among them stood a young woman named. She was 22 years old. Her black hair was tied back in a simple ponytail. Her eyes were dark and calm, showing no fear or excitement. She wore the same gray uniform as everyone else. She carried the same small bag. She looked like nothing special at all. The alien officers watched the new cadets walk out of the ship. There were humans, yes, but also tall blue creatures called the. There were the stone-skinned. There were the thin, four-armed. The galaxy had many species, and the Fleet Academy accepted the best from all of them. A large officer named Commander stood at the front. His skin looked like gray rock and his voice was deep like thunder. He looked at each cadet with his small yellow eyes. When his gaze passed over, he did not stop. He did not notice anything different about her. She was just another human. "Welcome to Station Vega," Commander said. "You are here because you think you are special. You are wrong. Here you are nothing. You will train, you will suffer, you will learn. Most of you will fail. The ones who survive will become officers of the Galactic Fleet." Listened without moving. Her face showed nothing. The cadets around her shifted nervously. Some of the younger ones looked scared. A cadet beside her was shaking slightly, but stood perfectly still like a stone in a river. The cadets were taken to their sleeping quarters. The rooms were small and cold. Each cadet had a tiny bed and a locker for their things. Put her bag in her locker and sat on her bed. She did not complain. She did not talk to anyone. She simply waited for what came next. Far above the cadet quarters, in a room that no one was supposed to know about, the High Council was meeting. The room was dark, lit only by floating lights that moved slowly through the air. 7 figures sat around a curved table. They were the leaders of the 7 most powerful species in the galaxy. Elder of the spoke first. His blue skin was pale with age and his voice was thin and weak, but his words carried great weight. "She has arrived," he said. The others shifted in their seats. An elder named Stonefather leaned forward. His rocky face was hard to read, but there was worry in his eyes. "Are we certain it is her?" Stonefather asked. "The signs are clear," Elder replied. "A human female, born under the dying star of Sector 9, blood type that matches the old records. She is the one mentioned in the Prophecy of Flames." The representative, a thin creature named Whisper, made a soft clicking sound. "The prophecy is 10,000 years old. It could mean anything. It could mean nothing." "We cannot take that risk," said another voice. This was High Admiral, a military leader. His voice was cold and sharp. "The prophecy says that a human will rise and break the chains of the old order. It says she will burn the thrones of the powerful. We cannot allow this." "She is just a cadet," Whisper said. "A young human with no power and no name. Perhaps we are afraid of shadows." Elder shook his head slowly. "The prophecy also says that she will seem like nothing at first, that she will hide among the ordinary, that she will grow in silence until she is ready to strike. We must watch her. We must test her. And if she shows signs of the prophecy coming true, we must act." The council members looked at each other. No one spoke for a long moment. Then Stonefather nodded slowly. "Agreed, we will watch her, but we will not kill her yet. If we are wrong, we would murder an innocent. The galaxy is watching how we treat the humans. We must be careful." Back in the cadet quarters, lay on her bed and stared at the ceiling. She did not know that the most powerful beings in the galaxy were talking about her. She did not know about any prophecy. She had joined the Fleet Academy for one simple reason. She wanted to see the stars. She had grown up on Earth in a small town in Korea. Her father was a fisherman. Her mother sold vegetables in the market. They were poor but happy, had always looked up at the night sky and dreamed of flying among the stars. When the Galactic Fleet opened its academy to humans for the first time, had applied immediately. Thousands of humans had applied. Only 50 were accepted. Was one of them. She did not think she was special. She had worked hard. She had trained her body and her mind. She had passed every test. But so had many others. She was just one small human in a galaxy full of wonders. The next morning, training began. The cadets were woken up before sunrise by loud alarms. They had 5 minutes to dress and get to the training ground. Was ready in 3 minutes. She was the first one out of her room. The first test was simple. Run 10 kilometers around the station's outer ring. For humans, this was difficult. For they, with their heavy stone bodies, it was nearly impossible. For they, with their 4 arms but weak legs, it was painful. She did not run fast. She did not run slow. She kept a steady pace, breathing evenly, saving her energy. Other cadets rushed ahead of her at the start. Then they grew tired and slowed down, passed them one by one. She finished in the top 10, not the best, not the worst, exactly in the middle. Commander watched her cross the finish line. He made a note on his tablet. Human female, average performance. But in the shadows, a small drone was recording everything. The footage was being sent directly to the High Council. Elder watched the screen with narrow eyes. She is hiding her true strength, he whispered to himself. I can feel it. She is exactly what the prophecy warned us about. Wiped the sweat from her face and walked to get water. She had no idea that her simple morning run had just made her the most watched person in the galaxy. The game had begun, and did not even know she was playing. 3 months passed at the academy, trained every day. She woke up early and slept late. She ate simple food and spoke few words. The other cadets began to notice her, but not because she was the best. They noticed her because she never complained. She never got angry. She never gave up. A human cadet named became her friend. He was tall and thin, with a kind smile and nervous eyes. He talked too much and worried about everything. But he was good at engineering, and he helped fix her equipment when it broke. How do you stay so calm? Asked her one night. They were sitting in the mess hall eating their dinner. The instructors yell at us every day. The other species look down on us. Don't you ever feel angry? Shook her head slowly. Anger is a waste of energy. I save my energy for things that matter. Laughed nervously. You sound like a robot sometimes, but I guess that's why you're still here. Half the humans have already quit. It was true. Of the 50 humans who had started, only 23 remained. The training was too hard. The alien instructors were too cruel. Many humans had given up and gone home, but stayed. The High Council continued to watch her. Every week, Elder received reports about her progress. He read them carefully, looking for signs of the prophecy, but so far had done nothing unusual. She was a good cadet, yes, but not exceptional. Perhaps they had made a mistake. Then came the day of the simulation. The simulation was the most famous test at the academy. Every cadet had to enter a virtual reality chamber and fight against impossible situations. The computer would create enemies, disasters, and problems. The cadet had to survive for as long as possible. No one had ever lasted more than 40 minutes. Most cadets lasted less than 20. The simulation was also deadly, not physically but mentally. The virtual reality was so real that many cadets broke down inside it. They screamed. They cried. They begged to be let out. Some cadets never recovered from what they saw in there. On the day of her simulation, walked into the chamber with the same calm face she always wore. The other cadets watched her through the observation window, was biting his nails nervously. She'll be fine, he told himself. She has to be fine. The chamber door closed, the lights went dark, and then's nightmare began. The computer started with fire. The virtual world around her became a burning city. Buildings collapsed. People screamed for help. The heat was so real that could feel it on her skin, but she did not panic. She started saving people, pulling them from the flames, carrying them to safety. The computer increased the difficulty. Now there were enemies, virtual soldiers shooting at her from all sides, found cover and fought back. She did not have many weapons, so she made traps. She used the environment. She was clever and quick. 30 minutes passed. The observers were impressed, was still going. She had saved dozens of virtual people and killed many enemies, but she showed no signs of stopping. Then the computer did something it had never done before. It created a new scenario, one that was not in its normal programming. It showed her home on Earth. It showed her parents standing in front of their small house, smiling at her. And then it killed them. In the virtual world, watched as soldiers burned her village. She watched as her parents fell. She watched everything she loved turn to ash. The observers expected her to break. Everyone broke when the computer attacked their hearts, but did not break. Something else happened instead. Inside the chamber stood in the ashes of her virtual home. Her hands were shaking, but not with fear, with something else, something deeper, something older. Her eyes began to glow. It started as a faint light like distant stars. Then it grew brighter. Golden fire seemed to dance behind her eyes. The air around her began to shimmer with heat. The virtual world started to crack and break apart. The computer tried to create more enemies. They burst into flames before they could reach her. The computer tried to create walls to trap her. The walls melted. The computer tried everything it had and nothing worked. Was no longer just surviving the simulation. She was destroying it. In the observation room, Commander stepped back in shock. His rocky face showed something it had never shown before: fear. "What is happening?" he whispered. Pressed his face against the window. Is that fire coming from her hands?" 60 minutes passed, then 70, then 80. The simulation had never run this long. The computer was running out of scenarios. It was running out of power. Finally, after 93 minutes, the system crashed completely. The chamber door opened, walked out slowly. Her eyes had returned to normal. She looked tired but unharmed. She looked at the shocked faces around her and seemed confused. "Did I pass?" she asked. No one answered. They were all too afraid to speak. That night, the High Council met in emergency session. The footage from the simulation played on their screens. They watched eyes glow with golden fire. They watched her destroy the virtual world with nothing but her will. "The prophecy of flames," Elder said. His voice was barely a whisper. "It is real. She is the one." High Admiral slammed his fist on the table. "We must kill her now, before she grows stronger." "If we kill her, the humans will revolt," Stonefather said. "They will see it as an attack on their species. We will have war." "Then we will have war," shouted. "Better war now than destruction later." Whisper raised one of his 4 hands. "There may be another way. The prophecy says she will burn the thrones of the powerful. But what if? What if we make her one of us? What if we give her a throne of her own? Perhaps she will protect the old order instead of destroying it." The council fell silent. It was a dangerous idea, but it was better than the alternatives. "We will watch her more closely," Elder decided. "We will test her loyalty. We will see if she can be controlled. If not—" He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. Back in her quarters, sat on her bed and stared at her hands. She had felt something strange in the simulation, something powerful, something that scared her. She did not know what it meant. She did not know what she was becoming. All she knew was that her life would never be the same again. Outside her window, the stars burned in the darkness of space. And somewhere in the galaxy, ancient forces were beginning to wake up. The prophecy had been sleeping for 10,000 years. Now it was finally coming true. After the simulation, everything changed for her. The other cadets looked at her differently. Some looked at her with fear. Others looked at her with respect. A few looked at her with hatred. She had done something impossible, and impossible things made people uncomfortable. The instructors also treated her differently. Commander no longer ignored her. He watched her constantly, like a hawk watching a mouse, but was not sure who was the hawk and who was the mouse anymore. 1 month after the simulation was promoted, she was given her own squad of 10 cadets. This was unusual. Normally, cadets did not lead squads until their second year, but the Academy said she had earned it. What they did not say was that the High Council wanted to test her leadership. Her squad had 5 humans and 5 aliens. The humans were, who was happy to serve under his friend, Sora Park, a quiet woman who was excellent with computers, Minyu Lee, a strong man who never smiled, and 2 young cadets named and who had just arrived at the Academy. The aliens were harder to work with. There was Grex, a young who thought humans were weak. There was a woman who was beautiful but cold. There was Tick, a small who talked too fast and moved too much. And there were 2 others, a quiet alien named Moss who was covered in green fur and a tall creature named Blade who had metal arms. At first, the squad did not work well together. Grex refused to follow orders. He said he would not take commands from a human, especially a human female. The other aliens watched to see what would do. Did not yell at Grex. She did not punish him. Instead, she challenged him to a fight. "If you beat me," she said, "you can be the squad leader. If I beat you, you follow my orders without question. Do we have a deal?" Grex laughed. His stone body was twice her size. His fists were like rocks. He was sure he would win. "Deal," he said. They fought in the training ring. The whole academy came to watch. Everyone expected Grex to crush the small human woman in seconds. The fight lasted less than 1 minute, but it was not Grex who won. Was fast, faster than anyone had ever seen a human move. She dodged Grex's heavy punches like they were nothing. She found the weak points in his stone armor and struck them with perfect precision. When Grex finally fell, he did not understand what had happened. Stood over him. Her face was calm. She was not even breathing hard. "Do you accept me as your leader now?" she asked. Grex looked up at her. For the first time in his life, he felt something he had never felt before, respect for a human. He nodded slowly. After that, the squad worked together perfectly. They trained hard and became strong. They learned to trust each other. Even, who had been cold and distant, began to warm up too. There was something about the human woman that made people want to follow her. 3 weeks later, the squad was sent on their first real mission. A small moon called Nexus 7 was under attack by pirates. The pirates had taken a research station and were holding the scientists as prisoners. The Academy decided to send squad as a test. "This is a simple rescue mission," Commander told them. "Go in, save the scientists, get out. Do not engage the pirates in direct combat if you can avoid it. Your weapons are limited. Your experience is 0. Do not be heroes, just bring everyone home alive." Nodded, but she felt something cold in her stomach. She knew this mission was not as simple as it sounded. Someone wanted to see what she would do under real pressure. Someone was testing her. The squad traveled to Nexus 7 in a small transport ship. The moon was gray and rocky, covered in craters. The research station was a large metal building in the center of the largest crater. The pirates had ships all around it. "There are too many of them," said nervously. "We can't fight all those ships." "We won't fight them," said. "We'll go under them." She had studied the moon before they arrived. She knew there were old mining tunnels that led from the crater walls to the research station. The pirates did not know about these tunnels. They were too busy watching the sky. The squad landed far from the station and entered the tunnels. It was dark and cold inside. They moved slowly, carefully, making no sound. Led the way, her eyes sharp in the darkness. They reached the station from below. Sent Sora to hack into the security system. Within minutes, they knew where the scientists were being held and how many pirates were guarding them. 20 pirates inside, Sora reported. 12 guarding the prisoners, 8 patrolling the halls. We're only 10, Minyu said. The odds are not good. The odds don't matter, replied. We have something they don't have, we have a plan. She divided the squad into 3 groups. Sora and Tickwood create a distraction by causing explosions on the other side of the station. Grex, Blade, and Minyu would attack the guards from the front, making noise and drawing attention, and would sneak into the prison area and free the scientists. The plan worked perfectly at first. The explosions drew the patrolling pirates away. Grex and his team burst through the front door, shouting and shooting. The guards rushed to fight them, leaving the prison area almost empty. And her team moved like shadows. They knocked out the remaining guards without making a sound. They opened the prison doors and found the scientists, 32 men and women from different species, all scared but alive. But then something went wrong. More pirates arrived, not from inside the station but from outside. 3 enemy ships landed and dozens of armed fighters poured out. They had been hiding, waiting for someone to try a rescue. It was a trap. Grex and his team were surrounded. His team was cut off from the exit. The scientists were trapped within the prison area. There was no way out. We're dead, whispered. His young face was white with fear. Looked at the scared people around her. She looked at her squad members fighting for their lives in the hallways. She felt something rising inside her, something hot and powerful. No, she said. Her voice was different now, deeper, stronger. We are not dead, not today. She walked toward the door. Her eyes began to glow with golden light. The air around her crackled with energy. The scientists stepped back in fear. Even, who had seen many strange things, felt her heart skip. Raised her hands and fire came. Not normal fire. This fire was golden like sunlight made solid. It did not burn her squad. It did not burn the scientists, but it burned everything else. Walls, doors, pirates, enemy ships, everything that stood in her way turned to ash. When it was over, the station was half destroyed, but every scientist was alive. Every squad member was alive, and 40 pirates were dead. Fell to her knees, exhausted. The golden light faded from her eyes. She looked at her shaking hands and did not recognize them. What am I? She whispered to herself. Her squad gathered around her. They looked at her with wonder and fear, but mostly with something else, loyalty. She had saved them all. She had done the impossible. Whatever she was becoming, they would stand with her. Far away, the High Council watched the footage from the mission. They saw the golden fire. They saw the destruction. They saw a human woman become something more than human. It is time to make a decision, Elder said. She cannot be ignored any longer. She cannot be controlled. We must choose. Do we make her our ally, or do we destroy her before she destroys us? The council had no answer. The prophecy was coming true, and nothing could stop it now. The news of the Nexus 7 mission spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Everyone was talking about the human cadet who could create golden fire. Some called her a hero. Some called her a monster. Most did not know what to call her. Returned to Station Vega as a different person. Not because she wanted to be different, but because everyone treated her differently. Cadets moved out of her way when she walked down the halls. Instructors spoke to her with careful respect. Even Commander seemed nervous around her now. Only her squad remained the same, still talked too much and worried about everything. Grex still acted tough, but now his toughness was directed at protecting, not fighting her. Had become almost friendly. The others followed without question. You saved our lives, Minyu told her one day. It was the most words he had ever said at once. We owe you everything. Shook her head. You owe me nothing, we are a team, we save each other. But inside was struggling. She did not understand her power. She could not control when it came or when it went. Sometimes she felt the fire burning inside her, wanting to get out. Other times she felt nothing at all. It scared her more than any enemy ever could. The High Council met again, this time in their most secret chamber. The air was thick with tension. Every member knew that their next decision could change the galaxy forever. High Admiral spoke first. He had always been the most aggressive member. The human must be eliminated. Every day she grows stronger. Every day more people follow her. If we wait too long, she will be unstoppable. And how do you suggest we kill her? Stonefather asked. His voice was heavy with doubt. You saw what she did on Nexus 7. She destroyed 3 enemy ships with nothing but her will. Our best soldiers would not stand a chance against her. Poison said, a quiet death. We make it look like an accident. Elder shook his head slowly. The humans would investigate, they would find the truth, and then we would have war. We are already heading toward war, shouted. The prophecy says she will burn the thrones of the powerful. That means us, our power, our control. Are we going to sit here and wait for her to destroy everything our ancestors built? Whisper raised 2 of his 4 hands. There is another option, one we discussed before. What if we bring her to our side? What if we offer her power within the system instead of against it? You want to make her one of us, laughed bitterly. A human on the High Council, the other species would never accept it. Not the Council, Whisper said carefully. Something else. Something that would give her responsibility without giving her true power. We make her a symbol, a hero for the people to worship. We control her image, her missions, her words. She becomes our puppet and she never even knows it. The Council considered this. It was a clever plan, dangerous but clever. And if she refuses, Elder asked, what if she sees through our game? Then we have no choice, Whisper replied. Then we do what suggests, but we try the gentle way first. The vote was close, but in the end, the Council agreed to try Whisper's plan. They would approach with offers of power and glory. They would see if she could be controlled. The next day was called to a meeting with people she had never met before. They were diplomats and politicians from different species. They smiled at her with false warmth and spoke to her with honeyed words. You are remarkable, a diplomat told her. The galaxy needs heroes like you. We want to help you become everything you can be. Listened politely, but she felt something wrong. These people did not care about her. They were afraid of her. She could see it in their eyes, hidden behind their smiles. They wanted to use her to control her. Thank you for your kind words, said carefully. But I am just a cadet. I have much to learn before I can be anyone's hero. So humble, a politician said. This is exactly why the people love you. You are powerful but gentle, strong but kind. You are everything the galaxy has been waiting for. They offered her promotions. They offered her medals. They offered her a position as a special ambassador for human-alien relations. It all sounded wonderful. It all felt wrong. That night told her squad about the meeting. They gathered in her quarters, sitting on the floor like old friends. They're trying to buy you, said. Her cold voice had become warm when she spoke too. The council is scared. They want to put you in a golden cage. How do you know about the council? Asked nervously. Looked at him with her large blue eyes. I know many things about my people's leaders. They are old and afraid. They have held power for thousands of years. They will do anything to keep it. What should I do? Asked. She was not asking as a leader. She was asking as a friend. Grex's stone face cracked into something like a smile. Do what you always do. Follow your heart. We will follow you. The others nodded. Even Quiet Moss and Mechanical Blade agreed. They were no longer just a squad. They were a family, and they would stand with no matter what. In the weeks that followed, played a careful game. She accepted some of the council's gifts and refused others. She smiled at diplomats and shook hands with politicians, but she never gave them what they really wanted, control over her. Meanwhile, she trained harder than ever. She learned to control her fire better. She could now summon small flames without exhausting herself. She could feel the power growing inside her, becoming stronger each day. But she was careful not to show the council how strong she was becoming. She also made new allies. Stories of her kindness and bravery spread through the fleet. Soldiers from all species began to respect her, not because they feared her power but because they admired her character. She treated everyone the same, whether they were human or alien, officer or cadet, powerful or weak. A young soldier named came to her one night. He was old for a soldier, his stone skin cracked with age. He knelt before her, something rarely did for anyone. "I served in the great wars," said. "I saw the old heroes fall. I lost hope that new heroes would rise. But then I heard about you. You give us hope again of Earth. Whatever you decide to do, I will follow you." Helped him stand. "I am not a hero," she said. "I am just trying to do what is right." Smiled, his old face cracking. "That is what all the true heroes say." More soldiers came to her after that. And humans. They came in secret, offering their loyalty. They did not care about prophecies or politics. They believed in because she believed in them. The council watched this with growing fear. Their plan was failing. Instead of controlling, they were losing control of their own soldiers. The small human woman was building an army without even trying. "We must act now," High Admiral said at their next meeting. "Every day she grows more dangerous. If we do not stop her soon, she will have more followers than we do." But before the council could decide on their next move, something happened that changed everything. An alarm began to sound across the galaxy. Emergency signals lit up every screen on every station. The enemy had come. An unknown fleet appeared at the edge of known space. Thousands of ships, larger than anything anyone had ever seen. They did not answer any calls. They did not make any demands. They simply began to destroy everything in their path. The Great War had begun, and the galaxy was not ready. Elder looked at the emergency reports with tired eyes. "Perhaps the prophecy was not about us after all," he said quietly. "Perhaps she is not meant to destroy us. Perhaps she is meant to save us." The other council members said nothing. They were too afraid to hope. But deep inside, they all felt the same thing. Their only chance of survival might be the one they feared the most. The enemy fleet moved through the galaxy like a dark wave. They called themselves the Void, and they came from beyond the known stars. No one knew where they had come from or what they wanted. All anyone knew was that they destroyed everything they touched. Station after station fell. Planet after planet burned. The Galactic fleet fought back, but they were losing badly. The Void ships were too strong, too many, too fast. In 3 weeks, they had conquered more territory than any war in history. The High Council was in chaos. High Admiral wanted to fight to the last ship. Elder wanted to negotiate. Stone Father wanted to retreat and protect the home worlds. No one could agree on anything. Meanwhile, watched the reports with cold anger in her heart. She saw innocent people dying. She saw families torn apart. She saw the galaxy she had come to love being destroyed piece by piece. "We have to do something," she told her squad. They were gathered in their usual place, but no one was sitting. Everyone was too nervous to sit. "What can we do?" asked. His usual nervous energy had turned into real fear. "We're just one squad. The whole fleet is losing." "The fleet is losing because they're not fighting together," said. "Every species is protecting only their own worlds. They're not working as one." Nodded slowly. "You're right. They only care about planets. They only care about planets. No one trusts each other enough to truly unite." "But they trust you," Greg said. His voice was rough but certain. "You've earned the trust of soldiers from every species. If you call, they will come." Looked at her squad. These were her people now. Not just humans, but and others. They had become her family, and she would fight for her family. "Then let's call them," she said. Over the next 2 days, sent messages to every soldier who had sworn loyalty to her. She asked them not to disobey orders, but to be ready when the time came. She told them that the galaxy needed to stand together or it would fall apart. One by one, they answered. They were ready. The council found out what she was doing. High Admiral demanded her arrest, but when he sent soldiers to take her, the soldiers refused. They had already chosen their side. "This is treason," shouted. "This is survival," replied calmly. "You have two choices: work with me or watch the galaxy burn. The void doesn't care about your politics or your power. They will kill us all the same." Elder stepped forward. He was old and tired, but there was still wisdom in his eyes. "She is right," he said. "We have been so afraid of the prophecy that we forgot to fear the real enemy. The void is here. Our old ways have failed. Perhaps it is time to try something new." The council was silent for a long moment. Then, one by one, they agreed, not because they trusted, not because they liked her, but because they had no other choice. Was given command of a combined fleet. Ships from every species joined together under her leadership. It was the largest united force in galactic history, and at the center of it all stood a young human woman from a small fishing village on Earth. The Void's main fleet was heading toward the heart of the galaxy, where billions of lives were waiting to be destroyed. This fleet met them at the edge of a great nebula called the Dragon's Eye. The nebula was filled with gas and dust that made sensors useless. It was the perfect place for a trap. "This is where we make our stand," told her commanders. Her voice was broadcast to every ship in the fleet. "They think we are weak because we are different species. They think we will not fight for each other. Let's show them how wrong they are." The battle began at dawn, though there was no dawn in space. The void ships came out of darkness like a swarm of insects. They were black and twisted, their shapes wrong in ways that hurt to look at. They made no sound, sent no messages. They simply attacked. The fleet fought back with everything they had. Ships provided cover fire. Ships charged in close for heavy combat. Ships moved fast and hit weak points. Human ships coordinated everything, connecting the different species into one fighting force. Led from the front, flying a small fighter alongside her squad. She could feel the battle around her, every ship, every soldier, every life. Her power was awake now, burning inside her like a star. But the void was strong, too strong. For every enemy ship they destroyed, 3 more appeared. The fleet was being pushed back. Soldiers were dying, hope was fading. "We can't hold them," shouted through the communication system. "There are too many." Closed her eyes. She could feel her squad fighting around her. She could feel Grex's stone-hard courage, his ice-cold focus, Minu's silent strength, his nervous but unbreaking loyalty. She could feel thousands of soldiers from dozens of species, all fighting together, all believing in her. And she could feel the fire inside her, brighter than it had ever been. "Everyone pull back," she ordered. "Get clear of the nebula, now." "What are you doing?" demanded. "Something only I can do," replied. "Trust me." The fleet retreated, flew forward alone, deeper into the nebula, toward the heart of the enemy fleet. The void ships surrounded her, hundreds of them, all turning their weapons toward one small human fighter. "Smiled, you came for a war," she said quietly. "Let me show you what humanity can do." She let go. The fire that had been sleeping inside her woke up completely. It exploded outward like a newborn sun. Golden flames spread through the nebula, igniting the gas and dust, turning the whole region into a sea of light. The void ships screamed. It was the first sound anyone had ever heard from them. They screamed as the golden fire consumed them, as their dark ships melted like ice in summer, as their invasion ended in a single moment of blazing glory. Burned brighter than she had ever burned before. She burned so bright that people on distant planets could see a new star in the sky. She burned until there was nothing left of the void but ashes and memories. Then the fire went out and she fell. Her squad found her drifting in space, her fighter destroyed, her body barely alive. Pulled her aboard their ship with tears in his eyes. Used every medical skill she had to keep breathing. Grex prayed to gods he had stopped believing in. For 3 days did not wake up. The galaxy waited and worried. The council, who had feared her so much, now feared losing her even more. Soldiers from every species gathered outside the medical station, holding candles and hopping. On the fourth day, opened her eyes. The first face she saw he was crying and laughing at the same time. "You're alive," he said. "You stupid, wonderful hero, you're alive." Smiled weakly. "Did we win?" "You won," said. Her cold voice was warm with emotion. "The void is gone, you destroyed them all, the galaxy is safe." The news spread across the stars. The human woman had saved them all. Not the council, not the fleet, not any government or power. One young woman from Earth had done what no one else could do. The prophecy had come true, but not in the way anyone expected. Had not burned the thrones of the powerful because she wanted power. She had burned them because the old ways were weak and divided. In their place, something new would grow, something united, something better. Months later stood before the new Galactic Assembly. Representatives from every species had come together to form a new government, one built on cooperation instead of fear. They had asked to lead them. She had refused. "I don't want power," she told them. "I just want peace. Build something good together, that's all I ask." She returned to her squad, her family. They were given a new ship, one designed for exploration instead of war. There were still many stars to see, many worlds to discover. The galaxy was at peace, but there was still so much unknown. As their ship flew into the depths of space, looked out the window at the endless stars. She was no longer the quiet girl from a fishing village. She was no longer just a regular cadet. She was something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. But deep inside she was still curious, still brave, still determined to protect the people she loved. The council had warned everyone about her. They had called her a threat, a danger, a monster. They had been wrong about everything. She was not the one they should have feared. She was the one they should have hoped for. And now, as she traveled through the stars with her family beside her, finally understood what the prophecy really meant. She was not meant to destroy the old galaxy. She was meant to help build a new one. The fire inside her burned softly now, warm and gentle like a hearth in winter. It was not a weapon anymore. It was a light. And in the darkness of space, that light would guide the way home.